If you thinking about owning a rental property, renting out your basement, or even thinking about moving to your new home and making your current property rental, then this video is for you. What I did in this video is thought of everything I've done in past 16 years. As you guys know, I bought my first house when I was in my, early 20s. Since then, I've been renting out properties. I've been doing so many different techniques or so many different ways to find the perfect tenant for my place. So I'm going to actually break it down for you in this video so at least you don't make the same mistakes I've made before. But I want to take you guys through how to find the right tenant to all the ways like how to sign the paper or document that you need to know. But before we start, I just want to let you guys know I'm not a licensed property management. If you do need advice from somebody, you can Google property management in your neighborhood or area and then, give them a call. But what I want to do is just give you everything that I've learned personally. And then hopefully, you can learn a couple things from here, right? So let's talk about is how to list your property first. That's the most important thing. Please don't rush it. Yeah, right. Have clean pictures, make sure the lights are on, make sure the rooms are clean, painted, whatever you need to do. What I find is when you do take pictures that are messy and stuff, that I've done it before, you don't get that many application if the pictures are clean. So make sure your photos and everything is clean. Everything is the way it should be. The lights are on, and then take pictures. Okay. Next thing, make sure you write clear details, everything about the property, what you need from them, what you're offering, but make sure you have everything in there for them to be able to make the decision based on the description, and don't waste your time, right? Because you don't want them to asking you stuff. Hey, pets allowed. Hey, I have two kids. Like whatever you want them to basically know that you're offering, have that in your detail of the property. Last thing, and this is the biggest thing that I've learned over the years, make a post on Thursday. And we all know that on the weekend, people sitting, watching TV, like enjoying their time off. And that's when they go look for the property they want to move into. Now, if you do make it on the weekdays, what I've done on Monday, Tuesday, but then by the time Friday or Saturday comes, you'll see listing is on the second or third page. You can post it on Facebook Marketplace. That's where I found the most success. Now, one last, tip that I'll give it to you guys that I've done it over the years. So let's say if, my similar to my properties is listed for 1,500, I'll post it for $1,400. And the only reason I do that is I want to have like more applications than less. So I get to decide who's living in my property. Okay. So make sure that's something, if you do want to do that trick, you lose the $100, $1,200 a year. But then instead of having like 3 or 6 application, you'll have 30 applications. It makes a huge difference. I've done it. Now, let's say if you do post it for 1,500 and you're not getting application or you're not getting good applications, I draw price every week. That's how I like to do my listing. So let's say if I list it for 1,500, if I don't get anything till next, Thursday, I'll drop it to 1,450. And I'll try to do that at least $100, $200 within a month. So because you want to be aggressive and delete the post, repost it. That's how I like to do it with the new price. Okay. So that's something to make sure you use all the techniques that I've said. It saved me a lot of times, a lot of money, and don't list something and then just sit on it and hopefully it works out. Because what's going to happen is your listing's going to go on third or fourth page and you're not going to have tenant and you lost a month. Month is a lot of money. So keep that in mind. Now let's talk about how to screen and find the right tenant. Okay. That's something that I've done it for years, and that has saved me because I've never had a bad tenant. I've never made a mistake on finding the bad tenant. So that's what I can tell you, everything I've done. I make sure everybody I meet, I get their applications, and in the application I want to know where they lived before. I always call them and ask them, hey, how are they as a tenant? Okay. I try to get their pay stubs. I'll try to get their credit report. I'll get as much information I can before I make the final decision. I don't make a decision over just on the appearance, right? Like if somebody comes in, they're professional, whatever you see the person like, oh, this person's good. Does not matter to me. Every time somebody comes and they want to live in my place, I need all this stuff from you, which is I have applications forms that I've created, change over the years. So you can Google it, whichever province and city you are, and then there's so many forms that'll come up, and you can add your own stuff if you like to. Now, when I'm finding the tenant, I like to just know everything about them. So I do Google and I do other things too to make sure I'm having the right person. I never ever rush. Okay, so keep that in mind. Try to get as much information, and if they don't want to provide, you can let them them know, hey, that's okay, but I need this because this is your life saving. This is my life saving. I need to make sure I have the right person living in my property. So that's something has saved me a lot, because some of the time people are like, you know what, I don't want to give you all this. No problem, and then what I find after is just like they might not be a good tenant for my property. Okay. So keep that in mind. But biggest thing is call where they lived before, and then ask them specific questions. How long did they live? How were they as a tenant? Were they, paying rent on time, right? Those things help a lot, because, if they didn't pay rent on time, they didn't do things they were supposed to, or the property wasn't clean, the last basically, owner will let you know right away, hey, they were not a good tenant, right? And now the last thing that I want to actually talk about is how to show the property, right? That is one of the biggest things that I've actually learned over the time too. So if you do decide to lower the price and get a lot of applications, you're like, okay, now I got 40 applications out there. What do I do? What I usually do is open house. If you want to, like, open house work really well. So I'll have 1 to 3 p.m. and I'll have, I'll tell everybody, whoever messaging me, I'll be like, there's open house 1 to 3 on Saturday. Come and then you can take a look at the property. In that case, you can show it to 30, 40 people, grab as many applications and good to go. Because if you're going to keep blocking an hour of your time and showing it to each person at a time, it's going to take a lot of time. Okay. So that's one of the biggest and best trick I've learned for myself when I had a lot of applications. Now, if you don't get too many applications and you want to know what's the best way of doing it, I always do only 15 minutes of time blocking. Okay. I don't do 30 minutes. I don't do an hour. I want them to come in, take a look at the property, ask me anything they want to know, and then they're gone, right? So hopefully this video helped, right? So make sure you do everything I'm saying. It did save me so much money. It did help me, to find the right tenant for my property. And again, if you guys need anything else, reach out to me. I can give you more personal advice. If you don't trust yourself, you don't want to put yourself through so much work, you can find property management in your area. There's always so many property management companies out there, right? But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and I'll see you next video. Take care.